Shanti is someone who absolutely brings immense energy, which everyone will agree to. She's also someone who thinks in framework, who thinks in a pattern, who thinks abstract. Sometimes it's hard to decipher what she means for people like me. But she also brings in terms. That's my personal introduction about Shanti. But Shanti started her journey when her younger brother was diagnosed with vision loss, and thereby started her journey of 30 years of doing grassroots level work in the disability inclusion space. It's very personal for me because she's also a sibling as I am. Shanti is the founder of Enable India, an organization which is 25 years old and which is working towards employment and livelihood of across 19 disabilities in 28 states. Is that right, Shanti?
It's more than 21 disabilities. Now it keeps changing,
Oh,
right?
it keeps progressing, which is wonderful.
Plus our work is also in many countries, right? Our Discovery Awards has been replicated across, or at least we have partners in 54 countries. And even if I go and ask the team, they'll tell me two more countries now. So
Array, you
anyway,
forgot this one. And Shanti is a Schwab social innovator. Shanti is an Ashoka Fellow. Shanti is Social Entrepreneur of the Year for 2019, and a lot, many things. So, uh, truly a trailblazer in this space. So, welcome, Shanti. Anything you want to share
thank
before I
you.
start with my questions?
So, first of all, thank you for having me. And I want to congratulate you on your Ashoka Fellowship and the entire team of Nai Disha. Woo! Just very proud of the work that you do. It is amazing.
Yes, Shanti, we derive that energy from the work that you folks do at Enable India as well. What I love is when we do our work, we also walk the talk when it comes to employment, when it comes to so many things. So, Shanti, a very obvious question first, because that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. When your younger brother was diagnosed with vision impairment, you were working in US, you had a cushion, had a good job there with. Uh, so, what made you could have very well supported your brother and stopped there, right? What really
Hmm.
drove you to think beyond your brother and look at the disability inclusion space at large?
Very simple. Vasudeva Kutumbam, right? And we always used to have that Indian pledge, what? India is the land of my brothers and sisters. I could never see it any other way. I think the other reason is also because my mom and my dad, my mom was a teacher in a school, and our house was like a dharmashala, of people of all walks of life coming to our house. So
Oh,
in many ways, we have never been limited by this is my family. So in one way, we know the saying Vasudeva Kutumbam, but in our house, it kind of got practiced. So the combination of that, you had to do this. There was no other way, right? In
yeah.
fact, I would say global family. So yeah, that's how I see it.
That's amazing. I think it is a part of how we are nurtured, how we grow up, the
Yeah,
environment we grow up in, the challenges we see.
yeah,
Shanti, frankly, when I look at caregivers, also I question that many times because sometimes
yeah,
caregiving is not easy. In fact,
yeah.
one day before, I was having a conversation with one of our employees who is also a caregiver, and
Hmm.
we know she's a caregiver, but what happens on the background when the caregiving is intense, we never know about
Yeah,
it, really. We always know
yeah,
the tip of the iceberg. And beyond that, when she's talking about her challenges and we're thinking how we can support her, conversation moves from how we can support her. She herself saying, but this is something I want other parents to know. This is something that they should also imbibe. And in such a serious conversation, I just started laughing because I believe
yeah,
all of us have an intrinsic motivation that we support others in this journey and make it a little bit easier for them. So, yeah. Um,
hmm.
To my next question, Shanti, on, I mean, I know you largely work with individuals with disabilities, helping them think about livelihood and so many things. In your journey, you would have also interacted with caregivers. What is the unique role in your opinion that caregivers play, and what is the strength that they bring to the table?
Very funny statement came to my mind. It's a very Hindi dialogue. लोहा सिर्फ लोहा को काटता है, what काटता है, or something like that, right?
Ah,
So caregivers for me are resilience, loha personified, right? And our persons with disability also are.
yes.
So I don't know why suddenly this strange saying, but to me, I think a caregiver day in and day out is in a situation which sometimes is can be, there's always constant emotions, and every day can be a challenge. But and I'm going to give you an analogy which we use for our persons with disability. We say that there are two minds: a monkey mind, which is thinking of short term problems, aaj ka dukh aur dard, and gorilla mind, which thinks long term. So sometimes the monkey mind will say, yeah, this is so difficult, why are you doing it? But the vision, gorilla is driven by the vision. And so I think caregivers, whatever their situation is, they rise up. And yeah, there'll be days when they give in to the monkey mind, which is good if they do that. In fact, I wish they would listen to their monkey mind and take care of themselves or something like that, right? But overall, they're always just like, hey, this has to be done. This is, there's a purpose in it. So what I feel the strength is being purposeful. It goes beyond empathy, right? It's not just about empathy, it's about actions. It's constant actions. It never stops. It's relentless. It's not a switch that can be turned off, right? It's a constant thing. So I think hats off, absolute hats off to our caregivers. Absolutely. I mean, I will tell you, I may be with, like having a meeting with funders, all sorts of people, let's say. But if a caregiver, if a parent walks in, I will stop everything and meet the parent. I have that much respect. I don't care who we are talking to. Let's say the president of the universe comes. I will stop and say, boss, somebody more important has come. I
Right.
really, really mean it. I will tell you, when parents come, I feel a force. I feel a force. I feel an energy. I feel when a caregiver comes in, that's what I feel. So you
Yeah.
don't want to get me started. You can see I can go on. So a
No,
lot of love, absolutely.
yeah, I completely agree. They are the invisible force behind person with disability also. And I
Yeah.
keep saying this that if we go to life of every individual, right? You also said you thought of this because of the way you grew up, what your mother was, she was a
Yeah.
teacher, and all of that. So it is even more true when a person needs additional support. So
Yeah.
caregivers play a very important role in advocacy as well. And really, I mean, as you said, hats off to all the caregivers. They continue to lead the way and showing the path to all of us.
And is it only that they have one person in their life? Let's understand it's much more complicated than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
Right? And sometimes, let's say you are also having to earn because of otherwise can't take care of the person. There are so many angles. There is expenses. So I don't want us to see it in isolation, caregiver and somebody to be cared or whatever, right? It
Yeah.
is so much more multidimensional. And what about that person's astitva, that person's what they should, how do they express themselves fully? There are so many angles to this. So this is a very, very important topic, talking about caregivers.
Mm. Thanks, Shanti, for that conversation. And it goes back to Vasudeva Kutumbakam, and that inclusion we talk about also starts at home in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Shanti, lately in the last 2, 3 years, and first time you spoke about purple economy, I was fascinated. I remember it was just last year, I think, when I heard it. You have been talking about it for a long period. I was fascinated by it. The story you told us about Nammayatri, really, really very impressive. So, maybe you can share what purple economy is and explain it to everyone.
Absolutely. I think what we human beings have not understood, okay, that any economy has come around needs of people. You know, needs have shaped economy in many ways. So, for example, if you think about it, I would have been considered blind in the 13th century, but because of eyewear, I don't look blind. So that means the needs that, I have this problem, this supposed limitation, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm not able to see clearly. And that's why eyewear was invented. And today it's a $170 billion industry. I'm not looking at it from the money aspect, but somebody at least gets paid money. There's a business that gets money. The titans of the world and all that have their shops everywhere,
Yeah.
right? There are from glass maker, lens makers to the spectacle makers to the e-commerce. So many people are feeding off my quote unquote limitation.
Mhm. Yeah.
You see, my need ultimately. So if we understand that and then we think a little bit more, right? Healthcare. Every human being on this planet, when they're sick, they are disabled. I'm telling it in a certain way. You are unable to function. Sometimes even with the cold, you're unable to function, honestly. You're like,
Correct.
"Arey yaar," okay, I'm talking of a little bit more than cold, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And you are supported by your doctors, your pharmacies, pharmaceuticals behind. If you're, a lab, if you're more sick, a hospital, nurses, X-ray machines, God knows. Just think about all the things that are required to keep you to be able to function. So when you don't have healthcare available as a system for you, you are actually either disabled or honestly, people were dying at the age of 20, 30, maximum 40, right? Only after the 1800s, healthcare started as a system, a lot of things available, and there's a healthcare economy. I hope you see what I'm leading to. Over
Yes.
a period of time, all of us have working in the disability sector have been able to see what have we seen. So how did we start, right? We started with economic independence and dignity of persons with disability across all these different disability types. And let me take intellectual disability example. Somebody who could not supposedly boy who could not bathe himself to the age of 15, right? Means personal hygiene could not do. But then obviously with the great organizations that exist and have done the hard work, at the age of 22, he's not only earning, he is actually he gave a mobile phone to his mother as a gift. So cute, and supporting the family now. I have other cases who have given loans for their sisters, and made sure that the family is supported. So all these things showed us that persons with disability, which we always knew, are people of value, just like each one of us, right?
Yes.
Only when all these systems have helped them to, like the caregiver has helped, the educator has helped, the assistive solutions have helped, then the person is able to be the full version of themselves, just like healthcare has helped us, right? To be the full version of ourselves. So with this, what we realize is persons with disability are not only employees, they're entrepreneurs, volunteers, active citizens, people of value, change makers, etc. And but people are not seeing such folks as customers. They're not seeing
Yeah.
our people with disability as customers. Even when you are a small child and needing intervention, early intervention as we call it, you are still a consumer. Maybe your parent is the customer, but you get the idea, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
we realize that there's an economy not only around people with disability, but around difficulties. The person who has knee pain is not using solutions, but maybe they can find solutions from disability, which we have so many solutions at our
Yeah.
disposal, right? So that's how purple economy is the economy around the needs, and which gives rise to products, services of people, customers with disability, their family, and people with difficulties. That's the whole idea of purple economy. And we did a back of the envelope calculation. It's a $450 billion unrestrained market in India and much more around the world.
Wow. Wow. In fact, Shanti, I was discussing this with another caregiver about 2 days back, in fact, on Monday. And this is exactly what he said, that why don't we have services? I want to take my son out for treks. I want to look at what are the farming opportunities. I want to look at music classes that my son can go to. One is these can be inclusive, but second is you can have tailor-made services
Yes.
available, which there will be a lot of caregivers, lot of persons with disability who are going to avail, and which is exactly the point you're driving, that look at us as customers, look at our
Absolutely.
families as customers, and create
Absolutely.
solutions that are quality, create solutions that are satisfying our need, and create solutions in a way that we can demand better quality and better services. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. And I'm so happy that this person actually mentioned this. This is exactly the purpose of purple economy. That, and I want to tell everybody who's listening to this program that understand that human beings now, we have simple stories in our head. Okay, so and we call it narrative. So narrative kya hai? Disability, nothing possible. The usual narratives.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally, we say the word mindset, but actually don't look at it that way. It's a simple story in the head. Now you know the real story. Persons with disability are people with value, and customers, they're also customers with, they're customers. So that narrative shift, that persons with disability are supporting their families, they are customers, they everything like that. That angle, when we start propagating that in society, then people will come forward and say, what are the needs? Can I make money off this? I don't want it to become kind of just trying to exploit, but provide a service and get paid for it.
Yeah.
That'll be the best thing you could do, right? Yeah.
And I also feel that the best way people are going to think about this and going to think about providing services also when there is a lot of awareness in early days. Because if I
Yeah.
want to be an architect and I have always grown around a person with disability, my best friend was a person with disability. When I think of what I want to design, I'm going to think of this person also and then recognize that he's also going to be one of the customers for me.
Oh, absolutely. We find that exposure to persons with disability in a non-threatening situation. What I mean by non-threatening is, hey, here's this person, interview this disabled person. I've never met a disabled person. That person is scared. So that I am purposely calling it threatening situation. Ki the person who is interviewing feels more disabled, about that. So what I mean by non-threatening is, you just went for a fun event. We create these kind of events with companies, by the way, because they've not had it in childhood in education system. So we make them do inclusive fun games, inclusive trek, inclusive volunteering together. Both the person with and without disability are volunteering together. So
Yes.
suddenly there's a bond that gets established, right?
Yeah.
So no, absolutely with you. If I intersect and get exposed to disability much early on, that'll always remain in my head, and I will build for that. I agree.
So Shanti, you have been at this for last 30 years and you have seen the sector evolve. You have seen this journey. How have you reflected on it and what does it mean to you as a caregiver who is also a change maker?
Lovely question. And I'm going to tell everybody, I feel blessed to be in this sector. Okay. First, let me take it from a very selfish personal point of view, right? I have gained a lot. For example, let me take from a solutions angle. Okay. And I'm very selfishly, I had sciatica. I had to lie for, my doctor said, you may have to lie down for many days. Then you don't have to go for surgery, etc. Now you can imagine just lying down is so boring, right? But it was not boring for me because I had my solutions. I had my grabber because of working on disability. I had my Bluetooth keyboard. I had a laptop with screen reader, which is used by blind folks. Then we looked online and we brought this, I'm calling it like something which you clip onto your headboard, and it'll come like this. You put your, mobile phone there, and therefore your hands free and you can take calls, right? This was during COVID times. So by the solution orientation for me came from disability, by working on disability. And every one of our caregivers are innovators. They have found solutions, right? So these solutions enable you. I feel so rich. I wish every person in the world understands that there are solutions for your challenges, because that's what I've learned from disability. I want this to go to everybody. I feel I have some like treasure with me. So that's what I was able to do. So and now just imagine in a little bit more serious situation, right? Somebody goes and they're told, oh, you have this problem and now you'll no longer be able to do something. I'm like, Chad, insurance policy is whatever has happened in the disability sector. Your insurance policy is with us. Don't worry. Right? Everybody is worried. Oh, mera haath ka ye problem. This will happen, that will happen. What will life look like? Boss, don't worry. Disability sector has something to teach you there. That
Correct.
there is a journey you'll have. You can overcome things faster. Know that you can have a full life. It'll look different. Definitely, I'm also not sitting and saying I want a disability or I want a challenge. I'm not saying that, but I know challenges आएंगे, disability आ सकता है, but I'm not scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shouldn't this go out to the world?
Yeah.
So each of our caregivers are sitting on amazing resilience and knowledge, and that is like a pot of gold for the world.
Yeah.
Every inclusive teacher, any teacher, special teacher, I don't know whether they realize they're able to squeeze ability from our kids have ability, but to find it, because sometimes you may not be able to see it, to be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
do that, they are sitting on knowledge that is required for the world. Many people have a learning disability not because they fall in the disability category. What happens is you may have come from a bad nutrition, poor cognition because your family is broken. There are many reasons why you are at the same level as a person with intellectual disability. So our caregivers, our special teachers have a lot to offer to the entire world. So for me, I don't know, I feel so rich here, or kya bolu,
Yeah.
and one thing that I uncovered was, and I call it a competency now, it's called the include ability quotient. Okay. Where you are able to look past a difference. I look past the disability, right? I'm able to see the full person. That helps me with all sorts of non-disabled also. Pehla, you look at the person, you're like, oh no, no, let me go past this difference. What if it's an ideology difference? Right, left, God knows, you can imagine. But I'm like, oh, that person is a nice parent, wonderful singer, something. You have to find something by which you can look past a difference. So disability gave that to me, right? I'm able to see the strength. I'm able to find solutions for the weakness. This helped me to be a better people manager. Do you want to hear more? Damn, 30 years have gone. I mean, it's been a blessing.
Yeah. No,
And
Shanti.
I've learned from every person with disability, every parent, every caregiver. I've learned from each one of them. That's all I can say.
That also speaks to the kind of person you are, who is also looking at the positive side. But I think it's such a beautiful thought to even end this conversation, because when we look at disability, there are so many, like, the something you always say, right? You think at an abstract level and understand this just a difference. This is just a barrier which will happen in many ways in everyone's life. Disability is no different. As you rightly said, differences and the kind of world we are living in now, it's more important than ever to look past the differences.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's a lovely message, Shanti. And thank you so much for doing this. And I'm so glad you are the first guest for this talk series.
Yay, I'm glad too.